Trent, I've heard of the term root of trust. What is that and how is it established?
So what we want to always do when we talk about a distributed environment, especially a distributed environment devices, is we want to be able to have a chain where we can trust that the information from, let's say, from the central point in the chain actually came from that authority. It came from the manufacturer, it came from the developer. And it sounds like a super simple concept of like, oh, of course we would know where that information came from or where that piece of software came from. But the reality is that this is often a weak spot when we talk about large distributed systems with devices, in that a hacker can attack that by impersonating that central point of trust, that root of trust. And if they can do that, then they can take control of the device or the application or the network. And so it's incredibly important that when we're designing systems and we're deploying systems, that we have a way to establish that firm root of trust and distribute any data or software or updates based on that information.
Great. Josh or Howdy, any other perspective on root of trust?
Yeah, so at a silicon level, to take it to like a device, a hardware root of trust is a smallest piece of code, the smallest piece of silicon that you can have that you can be trusted. So things that could be hardware roots of trust are things like ARM Trust Zone. You could build a hardware root of trust out of that. Some chips have, like an IMX series has components that build a hardware root of trust. There's discrete components. But it's really supposed to be this small subset that's supposed to be trusted, of which, like Trent was saying, you build up from there and trust the rest of the system. Now, unfortunately, the issue is if you have problems in your hardware root of trust, the rest of the house falls down. So like, Intel Management Engine has had some issues. ARM Trust Zone had some side channel vulnerabilities that could potentially get into it. But this is what we mean by the hardware root of trust, is the smallest trusted component from which to build the foundation.